Good old silver coins. They're a lovely, wonderful thing. A lot of us in the prepping community buy them. We put them away as an investment and a hedge against inflation. Same with gold, except not as many. It's a lot more expensive, a lot more pricey. But it's something else we like to have around. Good hedge against inflation, if we can afford any of it, of course. It's not the cheapest thing in the world. Now, unless you've been hiding under a rock and everything else like that, you've probably seen silver has just gone up in price. Blowing up. Same with gold and such. And just over the last 2 weeks, it's really, really gone up. Now, kind of annoyed for me because I was actually planning to buy a silver and gold, or, well, precious metals ETF fund. I was going to take some out of the mutual fund and put in that. And that was about a week before all this happened. I was thinking, I should probably do this. And I got busy, and then now I'm kicking my own rear end real hard because I'm like, darn it, why did this have to happen now? However, it's really interesting on that because we see this just blow up real quick. Then we throw up a picture of the silver price and a graph on it, and you can see here, yeah, it's a real good rise recently for the last year. Real big rise. Now, if you look down on the bottom, there's a historical section. You can see a section, and we'll highlight it a bit, where, hey, look, it's actually been higher and stuff. And usually when the economy is real good, you can see kind of it holds around 14 to 16 for the spot price. Kind of hangs around there for a long time. But now we've got a real big jump. And it's also interesting to me is because if any of you guys tried to buy silver coins during this year and the pandemic and everything else going on, you probably noticed that, what they were asking for a physical 1 ounce coin wasn't anywhere close to the spot price. I mean, they were asking, 24. I see some that were asking like $30, $35. I saw some crazy prices on that. They were so divergent from spot. So on one side, I kind of wonder, is the silver rise and the price and all that finally matching the physical demand and such like that? We're actually seeing stuff going on here. And I've always been suspicious of the paper. I've been suspicious of the gold paper and the silver paper. Is there really as much gold and silver backed, physically out there to back the paper that's on the investment? I find myself getting more and more skeptical on that. I'm wondering if we add up all the supposed ounces represented by paper, if they way exceed the total mine supply. I'm going to try to work and see if I can find some answers on that, but I'm getting real suspicious about this. So it might be better just to hang on to the physical stuff I got and not be so bummed that I couldn't get one of the ETFs that I was actually looking for. Just, harder to move around, of course. Now, one of the things that kind of begs the question, though, what does this mean? What's coming? What else we got going on? Is it suddenly going to be chaos? All hell breaking loose, everything coming apart. The world as we know it coming to a complete and total disastrous end. Dogs and cats living together. Complete mayhem. It's an interesting question on that front. I mean, we have, obviously, a lot of money that just got printed. And effectively, by the stimulus packages, when governments take on debt, debt itself creates money. I know that might sound crazy. So when a bank gives out a loan, they actually create money. Well, let me show you this in action here of how banks create money, okay? Now, when you say you want to go get a car, you're going to go get a car loan and do that, and say the car is like $20,000. You go to the bank, apply for the loan, whatever, and then they give you a check or deposit or whatever in your account. You can go get the car, and it's for $20,000. And poof, they've loaned you money, and you got to pay an interest rate and cover it back. But there's a catch. See, unlike you, if you're going to loan your friend $20, hey, you need $20, here you go. You pull out of your wallet, you hand your $20 to your friend, and stuff like that. You have $20 less, they have $20 more, and they go spend it. Money didn't get created. But the bank's kind of special. See, unlike you and I, they get to take the money from their depositors, okay, lend it out, or from the Federal Reserve, lend it out, but they don't subtract that amount from the depositor. So if they took, $1,000 from 20 people to make this car loan, now when they go look at their account, they don't see $1,000 missing out of their account. It shows the same balance they had the day before. Same thing, right? But the bank has given you this money to go spend. So effectively, there's more money in the supply than there was before. Fractional reserve banking, it's interesting scheme some bankers devised as a way to cheat, but eventually we decided we liked it, and it's a nice way to control things. We won't get into that long spiel. There's a long discussion I can have about this. And it's kind of stinky that you're effectively paying interest on money the bank doesn't even have. Lovely, isn't that? Very amazing, isn't it? They charge you a privilege to loan out other people's money that they don't even really have. It's a nice mess there. It's a nice little system they got going on. Wish I could loan out money like that. I wish I could do that. There's a lot of things I'll cover of how people can do things as businesses and other stuff. The greatest mastermind criminals that ever existed work there that we can't. But anyways, look at this, So one of the things, let's take a look here at a picture of all the stimulus packages going on. And this is a percentage of GDP. And they're big. Yeah, look at Japan's. That's really high, right? That's effectively new money that is created and put into the monetary system. So effectively, we know inflation is going to have to come. I just don't see a way inflation's not coming. And this reaction to buying silver, buying gold, everything else, it's probably the market or catch up from the demand that we left in the pandemic, those two combined together probably even, of them saying, we need to hedge against the inflation. We know it's coming. And probably big money is also going, we know inflation's coming. So they're trying to get out of what they consider volatile currencies and trying to get more stable. Now, gold and silver are more stable. They are hedged against inflation. So they hold their value. And what they could buy before, they can buy again. So, like when all heck breaks loose and people are hauling wheelbarrows full of cash to go buy their loaves of bread, the one guy can go up to the counter, get 10 breads and hand a silver, 1 ounce silver coin. And they're covered, right? Because it'll buy what it used to buy before, basically, the hedge against inflation, which is great. But, if all this stuff's going on, you grab all your money and throw it into gold and silver. Now, the big businesses and everything like that, they can change everything out, operate, and get a lot of their reserves put into like gold and silver and be covered and has a good hedge against inflation. Well, we may have savings, us, put away, and we could put them in gold and silver to hedge against inflation. But one of the things is it will buy stuff for us, and we're just depleting savings. What do we do about the going forward point? How are we going to manage that? Problem is, as inflation rises and eats away our buying power, it's not like we can go to our boss and say, dude, man, inflation's gone up real crazy. We need a raise. They're going to go, hey, this COVID thing, all this stuff going on here, everything's crunched. If you haven't noticed, everyone on the news, they're saying there's hiring freezes. Everything's held back. We ain't doing anything. There ain't no way you getting a raise. Yeah, that's what we're facing. So we're kind of locked in, and our money, as we're going to have, is going to be worth less and less and less. Now, the one advantage, if we have a decent amount of gold and silver and we see a massive amount of inflation, if you owe anything on your house, say like that, you owe a couple debts or whatever, you see a massive rise, well, you cash in some of your gold and silver and pay it off quick. Because most of those, if you were careful, like me, I don't have much longer. I got 5 years left on my house, but, our stuff's all backed by fixed interest loans. So you see a massive rise like that, they can't just jack the interest rate up, and so I can pay them back with cheap dollars, I can go get my silver coin and go buy a wheelbarrow full of dollars and just pay everything off. Yeah, so, we'll absolutely just cremate the debt industry, which is bad though as well, because you can imaginally see of how bad that is because people use those the money is used to cycle around in the economy, and it's a big issue. But, like I said, what about us going forward? What do we do, right? The inflation will eat about what we can buy ourselves. And that's where we need to turn to self-sufficiency. All right? Gold and silver, great for the saving, but self-sufficiency, we need to move forward. So we need to be able to produce the items of value that will do things. Get side businesses, side incomes, and other things like that, so that we can adjust our own prices and do things for ourselves, so that while our jobs aren't helping us out any, we got some way to help survive. All right. This is where also helping up, getting with your groups and other things like that, a great idea. Say you decide, grow a bunch of your own food, right? Say we decide to grow a bunch of, good grains and all that. We could pack them up in bags, make flour and stuff like that, sell it. If the inflation's like crazy and all that, you still got an income and you can adjust it for the right price. Or you could say, hey, give me some gold and silver for this stuff. Make pickles, sell them and stuff like that. Sell services like, hey, I can go help wire your house up for solar. I can go fix your air conditioning, stuff like that. Things like that. What can we barter and trade for this? Sort of side hustle. That's going to be pretty important in these sort of times. Being able to do that side hustle to be able to get us through this inflationary period. And that's why I'm going to be working on more stuff. I'm obviously growing stuff. Growing your own food is literally like printing your own money in a way. Stuff you won't have to spend. If you got massive inflation and all that, really good. You're not going to have to tap into your savings. The more we can grow for ourselves, the better, right? Get some chickens. Chickens are good. I'm getting some chickens a little bit soon. I'm going to have a little chicken coop built, and I'll have some chickens here myself. Some of my other group members, they already have chickens too. This is good. More food, stuff like that. And I'm going to keep working on things. I'm going to be working on writing some more books. I've got a fun SHTF book, fiction book I've been working on, and I'm going to push real hard to get that done and put it up on, the Kindle or whatever for $1. Well, today's rate, I have no idea, because apparently it's the lowest you can go. I'd make it even cheaper, but probably do $1. I'm going to do like a solar book. I'm going to call it Ground Zero Solar and cover all that. So do that so I can have that. People have a reference, get more independent, stuff like that. Put it at a real good price, like $4 maybe or something like that. I don't know. Still working on that, but I'm putting these together, do a side hustle. So when we're looking at facing massive inflation, and the rise of gold and silver could be a good signal of massive inflation coming to be, well, we need to start doing ourselves to become more independent, do things more for ourselves. We can have side hustles, side businesses, learn auto repair so you can help that. Shoot, hey, auto repair will do good in a big inflationary area. People aren't going to be buying new cars. They're going to be trying to fix and cobble together what they have to keep it running. Good skill to know. Good help on that. Be a great way to maybe earn some extra money. Grow things, like I said. Basically, think about how you can bring additional income into yourself. While you are not going to get a big pay raise at your office, what can you do to help yourself out on your own? So that's my point on the gold and silver rise. Inflation, most likely coming. I don't see any way that's not going to happen with the amount of stimulus as we've seen. And shoot, they're still talking about another $1 to $2 or $3 trillion in the U.S. alone. Eee. That's a huge pile of debt to dump on the taxpayers. Jerks. Well, we got to be working on ourselves to help better ourselves. Prove our position, as we say. Go check out Anthony at Palmetto Prepared. He usually has some good ideas for being able to make things on your own. Recommend it. Good skill to have. Check out Old School Prepper. She also covers a lot of that kind of stuff, and it's very helpful. Take care, everyone. This is Reed, out for now.